We're live. Hello everyone, and welcome to the M Tag More Than a Games official post-match review of the fifth and final T20 international between India and England that has just been concluded at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, which India has won by a very comfortable margin of 36 runs. And to discuss this game, we have Rahul and Shivang. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the show, and let's start. And we'll dive straight in to the discussion. So first thing first, what's your assessment of the overall game? How did you like India's performance?
Yeah, I'll start.
Rahul.
Yeah, it was a really impressive performance with both bat and ball, especially towards the second half of the Indian innings. Um, yeah, I mean, it's good to see India. This is the intent they were talking about from ball, from the first second over. Rohit Sharma batted really well, and yeah, it's good to see this performance. This is what we all were hoping for.
Okay, Shivang, your thoughts about the
I
game?
think it was a great performance, a clinical performance by India. India getting to bat first wasn't probably in the plans, but I think they started off brilliantly with the batting. Phenomenal batting performance from Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, Hardik Pandya, Surya Kumar Yadav, of course. How can we forget him? And just a terrific and a spot-on performance from India. And I think then to stage a really brave comeback in the second innings because England were going great. So I think strong and resilient performance from India, and a much deserved victory.
I mean, absolutely. I think India were right on top of the game right throughout their batting performance, and we've got a comment from Manish, especially he's commending Rohit Sharma, saying Rohit Sharma stepping with a big performance in a final was so good to see. So we'll immediately take this up and discuss about Rohit Sharma and his knock today of 64 or 34 deliveries. Rahul, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Rohit Sharma, he set the tone. First few games, the openers have been performing. He's also Rohit in the two games. He's on and off, but this is the Rohit Sharma we know. That if he goes all guns blazing at the start, it puts India in a really good position, and that also led. I think batting with Kohli, and I feel maybe it allowed him to liberated himself. I'm not sure, but yeah, his innings very set the platform for Surya Kumar and later on Hardik to come in and hit from ball one.
Shivang, what do you think about Rohit Sharma's innings today?
Great performance from Rohit Sharma, who, according to me, right now is the best batsman in the world, especially in T20s and one day internationals. And I think, like Rahul said, he laid the foundation for the rest of the batting to come. And I think it's just that trust and that belief that when Rohit Sharma will score, India will probably go on to win the match. I mean, that's such a confident player. You look at his strokes and the way he pulls the ball, the way he deals with the Yorkers and everything. So it's just complete performance and someone who India can completely trust at the top of the order. And if he gets going, then there is literally like no bowler in the world that can stop him.
Absolutely, and with that, there's also another question from Kabir Ali. Kohli and Rohit opening pair at the World Cup, because I think it was a massive call by India today to by Virat Kohli to have both to have KL Rahul being dropped and he promoting himself at the top of the order and bring in the sixth bowler in the shape of Natarajan. So, Shivang, how do you think? I mean, Kohli Rohit as an opening combination for the T20 World Cup, is it feasible?
I think suddenly, all of a sudden, I think it makes sense because to be honest, don't trust Shikhar Dhawan enough in T20s, and KL Rahul in the IPL has shown a lot of glimpses, but at the international level, he probably hasn't shown enough. So Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma suddenly starts to make sense. I mean, they remind me of Virendra Sehwag and Sachin Tendulkar. The way they play, the likes of how just how Virendra Sehwag used to take over the innings and start explosive, and Tendulkar used to just go on and carry on with his innings. That's exactly what Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are doing. So brilliant performance by them, and I think we'll still have to wait for a couple of more matches and see them opening regularly to try to figure it out and see if that's a good opening pair for the World Cup.
Good point. Rahul, what do you think?
Yeah, I do agree. I think Kohli opening makes a lot of sense. I mean, that would mean that I don't know what their plans for Ishan Kishan is, but yeah, Virat opening makes sense. He can anchor the innings and others can play around him, and that also means India can play an additional, an all-rounder or an additional bowler if they want. Um, it makes sense instead of having him, and then also means Surya Kumar can play at three, and he's that X factor that India have now found and hopefully will have for the remaining upcoming games.
Good.
Just to
Yeah,
add on,
sure.
I feel that Virat Kohli is probably a kind of a batsman. As many balls as he faces, the better he will get, the better his innings will get.
True.
So it
Yes.
makes a lot of sense for him to start the innings, to open the innings, and just take his time, take a couple of overs, and settle in. Once he's settled
Yes.
in, once he faces those 20 odd deliveries, then he like really shows his class. So it totally makes sense for him to bat the 20 overs to start from the word go and just be there for Rohit Sharma initially and then take charge.
I think what you guys have talked about is quite right, and with that, I think this is also something that Kaushik Kashyap has asked. Virat anchoring Sky, Rohit, and others going all guns blazing. Is that the mantra for batting for a batting first strategy for India? Shivang, we'll take you on first.
I think not just batting first. This should be like India's mantra throughout throughout the World Cup campaign because we know how well Virat Kohli bats even when India are chasing. So if that goes on, if he stays till the end, even when India are chasing, when India are batting second, I think he can still anchor the innings and just go on helping the others. So and about Surya Kumar Yadav, I mean, my God, what a talent and what a boy! Like each and every strokes, it just oozes confidence and I just loved him from the first ball till he got out. And I think I have this one thing to say that it always takes something special to eclipse Surya, and that is something which we observed in this match. So great performance, and Rohit Sharma, of course, I've said enough about him. He for me is the best batsman in the world, no matter which format we're talking about. Elegance and just class. And so yeah, I think be it batting first or second, this should be the go for India.
Rahul, what do you think? I mean, this sort of a strategy works for India now, especially batting first.
Yeah, it definitely works batting first. If we want all the attacking players around Kohli to perform, then he provides that that the support. If the Surya Kumar and Pant and Rohit, if they are going all guns blazing, he'll be happy to just give them strike. He doesn't really he's not really interested in taking up balls. If the other batsmen are playing well, he'll support them, and that's what we saw in the previous game as well. And he was supporting Kishan as well on his debut. So yeah, I do agree. And if India chasing, then we all know we trust in Kohli. He's the master of chases, so there's no worry there.
Yes. Kaushik has thrown in another question. I think all we were thinking about was Ayer or Sky. Sky at three and also making Ayer play, who did well. Do you think it's a master stroke decision that you've been able to fit both of them into the same team? Rahul, what do you think?
Yeah, seems like instead of having to choose between one, now India have found a solution. Just have both play, and that that means that both Rahul will not play, and I don't know what Kishan will probably not play either. But this does seem it's a small sample size, but it does seem like a good solution to the middle order issues.
Good point, Rahul. And what do you think, Shivang?
I think it makes sense to have Shreyas Iyer and Surya Kumar Yadav in the same team. But again, I think Shreyas Iyer is probably another player who needs a couple of overs to settle in, and then he just starts to get going. So I think he shouldn't bat later than number four. Number four is the perfect
Point.
place for him. If he gets in at number five or number six, then I think there's unnecessary too much pressure on him, and he probably will just play a silly shot and get out. And that is not the kind of batsman he is. He's a class batsman, so he needs to face a lot of deliveries. And number four is the latest that he should come in the batting order. So number three, Surya Kumar Yadav, and number four, Shreyas Iyer totally makes sense for me. Just to just to calm things down for a bit in the middle overs.
Great point again there, Shivang, and I think we'll get back to the start of the game. The team selection suddenly threw us off guard, and Kohli dropping KL Rahul and bring in T Natarajan, which is where the question from Sandeep Malhotra comes in. The team selection was spot on as Rahul was looking so out of form, and getting an additional bowler was required and crucial as Sundar would have gone for runs, as this wicket was a spinner's nightmare. So T Natarajan came in for KL Rahul. Rohit was joined by Virat Kohli at the top of the order, and India were decided to go in with the sixth bowling option. I think it kind of looked just right for a game like this. So how do you think was this team selection today from Kohli today? Rahul, will take you first.
Yeah, like you said, that's they they analyzed the conditions well, and they went for the security of probably Kohli doesn't trust himself at tosses anymore, so he went with the security of the sixth bowler, and yeah, it paid off. Not constrained by having to bowl all four of Sundar's overs, and that's basically the point. And yeah, it really worked out today.
Shivang, what do you think?
I am always in favor of getting an extra bowler in T20s, because I think if in such a short format, your batsmen, your five, six batsmen are enough to get you as many runs as you want. But you need that extra
True.
bowler, because especially when you have the likes of Hardik Pandya as a fifth bowler, who is good, but like I don't think you can rely on him completely in the bowling department. So you need to have that extra option. Like for example, like Sandeep said, Washington Sundar wasn't at the prime of his form today, and it was great for India to have an extra option. So I always prefer to go in with six bowlers, and so that one of your bowlers, if they have a bad day, then of course the others can take over. So yeah, great team selection from India.
Uh, good. That's a good one. I think it's. I think we've and again, I think related to that is Kaushik. Once again, he said the selections have been spot on this series. What do you think, Shivang? What do you think?
To some extent, yes, but I feel like I probably feel that the likes of Shikhar Dhawan starting in the first match, and in a T20 series probably didn't make sense for me, and that is probably the only thing that came as a surprise to me, because I like Shikhar Dhawan is a great batsman. He's a great batsman for the ODIs, but not in T20 in particular. So that was a surprise for me, and the reason for India to leave Surya Kumar out in one game also didn't make a lot of sense, because he didn't get to bat in the first game that he got. So a couple of iffy decisions, but overall, yes, the selection process has gotten better, and Kohli's decision making has definitely gotten better. So yeah, a decent selection picks in the series, I would say.
Rahul, what do you think?
Yeah, this series was India looking to, I think, experiment a bit, and I think eventually they by the end of the series they found more or less their preferred combination, which is I think the best outcome. Even
Hmm.
series win is good, but also the fact that they found a preferred combination, that is a big positive. Yeah, they started with Dhawan. I think that was, I didn't think they should have, and uh, Surya Kumar maybe should have got a couple more innings. This is a chance for him to bat more. But aside from that, yeah, can't have any complaints. And no, with Bumrah returning, Jadeja returning, it puts India in a good position.
Absolutely. I think it's, apart from the first game and maybe couple of other games, I think India and Virat Kohli, I think more or less got their selection game quite on point. So we'll go back at the to the opening partnership between Virat and Rohit. I mean, it was a spectacle too because this is the first time we were watching them together open the innings in a T20 international, and I think we were treated to a spectacle. I think. What do you think about that, Rahul?
Yeah, it's lovely, lovely. It's just really lovely batting. I feel Kohli he was maybe his timing was a bit off, and some shots were going straight to the fielders. But Rohit took over, and this just beautiful to watch. This sixes and yeah, when there's I think the couple of straight drives early on that set the tone. We're like, yeah,
Yeah.
Rohit's in today, and yeah, I think if he stayed maybe 5 6 overs, would probably got 100.
Shivang, what do you think?
Two great batsmen, two very different batsmen. But I think the challenge and the idea was to see if they gel together, if they can play together.
True.
And one of the things that I observed during the match was that whenever they face a short pitch delivery, I mean, Virat Kohli plays it off the back foot, and Rohit Sharma plays it off the front foot. So
Absolutely.
that sort of tells you how different those two batsmen are, but yet they look so in sync, and they gelled perfectly well together. So I
Yeah.
think this for me is probably the most impressive highlight of the series, that we kind of found a new opening partnership in T20s.
You're right. It gave us a new opening partnership in T20s, but knowing how this team management at times functions, I mean, it also is a new headache for them. I mean,
Perhaps,
it's
yes.
like too many. It's like the too many cooks coming in, spoiling the that
Curry.
broth. I think it's a
Sure,
bit
sure,
of a
sure.
so it's a bit of a issue. And again, I think we'll go down to how the other two batsmen who got a chance to bat in this innings functioned. I mean, what about Surya Kumar Yadav? Again, for me, he looked $1 million when he was batting. I think it was almost looking like he was ready for international cricket maybe a year or two ago already. I mean, with the way he was playing, I think great innings from him. I mean, just carried that momentum on. So, what do you think, Rahul? What was your impression of Surya Kumar Yadav after today?
Yeah, and he carried on second ball six, third ball six. Wow, he's just a lovely batsman to watch as well. And yeah, that's I think Kohli spoke in the before the game about how he's the X factor, and he's really proving it. Yeah, and unfortunately, it took some really great fielding to stop that innings, and we can't have any problem, with Jordan's effort. But yeah, it's good, and it's really good that he took both his chances. you know India often, when if players like new players fail, they're happy to drop them without giving them a long run. So it it's it's really important for Surya Kumar to deliver on his potential, and he has.
True. Shivang, what do you think? Surya Kumar Yadav suddenly, just probably the breakout star that India has seen in this series. What do you think about his innings today?
My God, I mean, that guy, the moment he was walking in, I mean, I didn't even wait for a couple of balls or the first ball, but just the confidence in his walk, he was so confident that he will score big, and he is pretty confident. And that guy oozed confidence. And I mean, he was so good. He was so good in his decision making, in his stroke making. And I think a lot of credit needs to go to the Mumbai Indian staff as well as the likes of Rohit Sharma, who have really groomed him so well that he's absolutely ready for international cricket. The one thing that I really like about him is the fact that he got dropped in the second T20, and still he came back, and there wasn't even a hint of nervousness on his face or even some kind of hesitation, and he performed as if he owns that place, as if he owns this team. So great future ahead for him. And I think this is the player that India should protect, India should nurture, and India should implement in all three formats. This guy will be a hit for sure.
Absolutely. I think he just oozed so much class when he was batting. I think his stroke making uh, was just a treat to watch, and that's where Kabir Ali's comment comes in. Loves Sky's arrogance. Looks like he's been at this
Absolutely,
level for years.
absolutely.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's confidence, but it's arrogance, but it's not exactly arrogance. It's a bit
In a
like
good way.
he's
In a good way,
Yeah.
it's
yes.
it's a good amount of arrogance that he has, and it just looked today he was in the zone, and it unfortunately took one of the most sensational pieces of fielding that we've seen in recent times to actually get done with his innings. I mean, we all knew that how good a fielder Chris Jordan is, and I think he just proved it once again that if it's in the outfield, he's as good as anybody else you will ever get in the game. So, and with that tag team catch that got rid of him. Hardik Pandya with the bat finally showed up today and looked and was able to cap off the innings on an explosive note. I mean, what do you think? I mean, Rahul, how do you rate Hardik Pandya's effort with the bat today?
I think that one ramp shot of he played of Archer, that was
Hmm.
good to see. He's been struggling a bit with the short ball, so it's good he finally found that solution. And yeah, I think at the start of his innings he was not finding that fluency, but yeah, he eventually found it. And you know, it's Hardik is he'll always more or less more often than not he'll give that um, quick conclusion to the innings. He's such a great finisher.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, what do you think, Shivang? I mean, how do you think Hardik went about with the bat today?
Brilliant performance, brilliant player. I think the one thing that I have really starting to like about Hardik Pandya is that he's showing maturity now. This is not the old Hardik Pandya who just comes in and starts off hitting sixes and gets out unnecessarily on a silly shot, a silly ball. He comes in, he analyzes the pitch and the way the ball is coming onto the bat, and then he plans his strokes and he places them absolutely, in a perfect fashion. Him starting the bowling was something that I was dubious about and was something that I did not like. Probably the reason why he went for some runs initially. I think he's more of a middle overs kind of a bowler. So
True.
him starting the bowling, I am not a fan of that. But a great batting performance from him, and I think he was moved up the order just to do that. And yeah, I mean he's a stylish guy. I don't think he can ever do something wrong with his attitude. So and his performance showed that absolutely.
We've got another comment from Sandeep and about Suryakumar Yadav. It took three umpires in the previous game and two fielders in the smash to dismiss Suryakumar Yadav. What a legend! I mean, yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's something that Shivang said before the stream. It's taken something special to try and ridiculous as well as something special to eclipse Surya.
It takes
I mean,
something
that
special to eclipse the Surya. Yeah, yeah.
a very good comment. I think it was. So I mean, great effort with India with the bat today. 220 for two. I think 24 for two. It was just the kind of innings that, like I think Rahul said, it just summed up what India were talking about intent with the bat and being expressive was going to be. I mean, they showed it up today. Let's go to the England innings. I think Jason Roy being dismissed with the second ball itself by Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and then that big partnership, that 129-run partnership that Josh Butler and David Malan had. What do you think? I mean, about Josh Butler today. I mean, how good was he? Those that pair, Rahul.
I would say they both started off really well. And Malan took advantage of that the Pandya over for
Yes.
unusual quick start, which is and when Malan's track record has shown me that he often when he after a slow start he capitalizes on it. So that the fact that he started off quick was a sign of worry for India. And
Yeah,
they were going
absolutely.
well until the 10th, 11th over, and then India pulled it back. And eventually they both finished on strike rates of 152 for Butler, 147 for Malan, which is in the context of the chase not that impressive. So they batted well, but they should have probably pushed on. And the fact that one of them should have stayed until the end if England were to pull this chase off.
Shivang, what do you think? I mean, that part about the of that 130-run partnership between Malan and Butler.
Great performance from Butler. I think he's a fantastic player. and this is where he belongs in the batting lineup. I don't know why England experiments so much with him. Sometimes he comes down the order, sometimes he comes in the middle of the order. They should open with him, and he'll get you runs. He'll have a few offs as well, one or two matches, but when he clicks, then he's really tough to stop. And especially against India, he's had a great record against India, and
True.
Malan was really good too. But I think what worked for India is the fact that initially the ball was swinging, and that really helped Bhuvneshwar Kumar take the first wicket with that in swinger.
Actually.
Because after that, it was pretty flat for the bowlers, and you just had to rely on the off cutters and slower balls. So a plan perfectly executed from India, and a great effort from Butler and Malan too. I mean, at some point, for a second, for a minute, maybe we thought that okay, maybe they will get close to the target. I know maybe they will pull it off, but that's just credit to their batting performance.
David, I think David Malan played very well today. I think he came into the series with the tag of being the number one ranked T20
Number
batsman
one,
on
yeah.
the ICC rankings, and in the previous four games he did not look anywhere close to showing why was he ranked in that at that spot. But today I think he looked really well. What do you think about his innings at least, Rahul?
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, he did found his the runs finally, and it's obviously, he's not number one for no reason. He's obviously a good player. I mean, does have, yeah, he has that's some shortcomings that people talk about, but he is a good player, which he showed. But on the other hand, also showed, by, Ben Stokes is probably wasted at six. What if he bats up the order?
True.
Probably
Yes.
provides a greater upside. So that's that's the case with England. They have a lot of good batsmen who probably should be batting in the top three, and they're probably yet to find that combination which works for everybody.
True. Shivang, what do you think? I mean, about David Malan today. I mean, to you, and also I think he has also broke the record of the fastest 2,000 runs in T20 international cricket. I think. What do you think about his performance today?
Good performance, really good performance, but I think the pitch helped him as well.
Hmm.
No doubt he's a great batsman, and he's been the records show that, the statistics show that, number one T20 player in the world. But I would love to see more of him when the pitch gets a little challenging, especially when it gets out of his comfort zone, because that is, to be honest, what defines a good player and a great player. So
Hmm.
I liked his performance today, but I think the pitch was helping him, and Josh Butler was helping him as well at the other end.
True.
So it was a great performance, a good performance, but I would love to see more of him, especially on a track that offers something more for the bowlers.
Okay.
I'll also point
Yeah.
out that
Sure.
I'll also point out that he didn't face much spin, and
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
the Chahar overs were, as I see, I think Butler took most of the strike of those two overs. So yeah, that's something that he didn't so played into his advantage today.
True. Good, great point. I think, and about India's bowling effort. I mean, whom to you? I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar was outstanding with the ball. I think in a game where the opposition has been able to get close to 190, having figures of 215 in 4 overs. I think it just shows what uh, a bowling effort he's done today, and what a great return from injury it's been for him. What do you think about Bhuvneshwar Kumar's return from injury and his spell in this game, Shivang?
Classic performance from him. It's almost like he's picked up from the left, and great performance. It doesn't look like he had a big injury and he was out for such a while. And I can only imagine what his and Bumrah's partnership is going to be in the future, and that really excites me. So great performance and a great player. Yeah, one of the classics, and one of the recent legends that India has produced. So I think a fantastic performance from him.
Rahul, what do you think of Bhuvneshwar Kumar's spell with the ball today?
Yeah, he's shown. We know what Bhuvi can do, and he's been out of the side for a while, thanks because of injury. But it was really good to see him perform up front with the new ball. And yeah, we know when called back at a crucial time of the game, took Butler's wicket, and from there, the momentum swung. So I think that is a very important over in the context of the game. So yeah, it's happy to see him do well. I always loved him. Such a understated. His quality is quite understated in the team. So
True,
yeah.
true, true.
And there was a return for T Natarajan today. He was apparently at NCA Bangalore, trying to recover from his fitness issues and all. And a good return for him. I think one for 39 and 4 overs, and got his Yorkers and those Yorkers going in the final over. What do you think about his return, and where do you think he stands in the pecking order right now in the T20 pace list for India? Shivang.
Good performance, really good performance, and I obviously really liked his Yorkers towards the end and really stopped the runs in the end. But like if you talk about the future, if you talk about the World Cup, and we think about three fast bowling options along with Hardik Pandya being the fourth, so I don't think he makes the cut for me over there because I think it's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah, and Shardul Thakur who has really impressed in this series,
True.
who's been absolutely fantastic in the series. So I think Natarajan right now is a good backup, and yeah, just a couple of things he needs to work on, and I think he's going to be great in the future. But right now, if you're looking at the World Cup, if you're looking at the immediate future, then I think probably he is not quite there. But the next best option probably is what I would call him right now.
Rahul, what do you think about Natarajan's performance today with the ball?
Yeah, he bowled a good first over, then took a bit of stick from Malan, and I think third over Stokes hit him for a couple of boundaries. But overall, yeah, as a comeback after he was injured and after not played T20s for a while, it's a good performance. But yeah, I agree with Shivang that I don't think he's in the starting 11. He should be in the 15 because
Yeah,
his skill set is something different that India should have as a backup option. But my starting three pacers would be Bumrah, Bhuvneshwar, and Thakur. Especially as Thakur provides extra value with his batting as well. Which yeah, it's lovely to see him bat and he plays some nice shots. So yeah, I would have Natarajan, and interested to see how he does in the IPL, second season. We'll wait and see how that goes as well.
Absolutely. Yeah,
just to
sure.
add on Shardul Thakur, I think what he's managed to do, a lot of credit needs to be given to Mahendra Singh Dhoni as well. I mean, the way Mahendra Singh Dhoni has
Absolutely, yes.
nurtured him and brought him so well in the IPL, and probably he was the leading pace bowler for them for Chennai Super Kings in the IPL. So I think a lot of credit needs to be given to Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and yeah, a fantastic development from him. I think initially he
Yes.
looked a bit rusty, and when he used to come on to bowl, I never thought that he'll pick up wickets. But now it's almost like he's giving in his 100%, and the performances and the results are showing. And the
True.
crucial knocks towards the end. I mean, the 10 runs that he scored in the last match were decisive. And he's someone who we can rely that he can come into towards the back end of the innings and score a few big ones. So that is absolutely crucial in such a format, and that gives India the liberty to go with six bowlers.
Hmm.
So, for me, it's not a doubt he should be in the 11, and a great performance again from him today.
Absolutely. And what do you think about Shardul's performance today, Rahul? I think it's another great performance with the bat. I mean, with the ball especially. I mean, notwithstanding the fact he got a little pumped towards the final over, but he looked really good with the ball. What do you think, Rahul?
Yeah, I mean, you can discount that final over. The game was done by
Hmm.
then.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, he took those again, like last game, two wickets in a crucial over that probably settled the game. And yeah, initially when Thakur used to play, I didn't rate him that highly. He used to give
Yeah.
boundaries regularly, but yeah, I haven't thought about it from Dhoni perspective. He has done good job at CSK, has stuck with him, and yeah, I feel like now Thakur has a lot of goodwill after his heroics in Australia, and he's built on that. So for me, it's definitely a part of India's T20 team going forward.
Absolutely, and I think we've got a question from coming from Sandeep. He said the captaincy in the middle overs was key as Chahar after a horrible first over bowled brilliantly, and then to bring on Hardik and Bhuvi just increase the pressure on Butler and Malan. What do you think? I mean, the middle overs captaincy. which is where I think India won the game. Shivang.
Great. I think I'm not quite sure who was captaining India towards the middle orders, middle overs. If anyone can remind me, was
Probably,
Virat Kohli back on the pitch by then?
I
I
feel like,
I
yeah, I
think it
feel
is
like Kohli
Rohit
was off at
probably.
some point in the middle
Sorry.
overs.
I think Kohli had been struggling with injuries and all. He probably had stepped out for a pretty major part of the game, especially in the fielding towards the fielding half.
If I think if Rohit Sharma captained for the majority, do you
And
think that
Sandeep
would
has
really have
confirmed it was
best?
Rohit.
It was
And
Rohit. Yeah,
Sandeep
yeah.
said it is Rohit.
And I am a big Rohit Sharma fan, not just as a player but as a captain as well. I think in the limited overs, no, like Virat Kohli is a sensation. He's a legend, but he's not that great of a captain for me. So according to me, in the T20s, in the ODIs, Rohit Sharma should be India's captain. I mean, his decision making, his bowling changes, his field setups, it just impresses me so much. And he's so sure, and the records and the victories that he's had, the trophies that he's got, clearly speak volume about his, about his credentials as a captain. So, brilliant performance from Rohit Sharma, not just as a batsman but as a captain as well. And I 100% agree with Sandeep that the way he pushed Rahul Chahar, especially because Rahul Chahar plays for Mumbai Indians as well. So there is that connect as well. So I think that is what Rohit Sharma does. He really, then brings out the best in any player. So fab performance.
Rahul, what do you think? I mean, the middle overs captaincy. What do you think? I mean, how good it was? And Sandeep said that Kohli came on towards the 17th over of the game.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't think, because he was arguing with Butler. When Butler got out, he was
Yeah,
uh,
I think yes. Butler was he got into Butler's face around that time. I think so. It was
yeah,
yes around the 12th, 13th over. He was there. I think he
yeah.
was in the around in the 13th over.
But yeah, credit to Chahar. He got hit for three sixes in his first seven balls, and then but he came back well, bowled a few wides, but he really restricted England, and that contributed towards the comeback. So yeah, that is good captaincy, and the fact that Rohit captainship for Mumbai Indians must also help.
And I mean, we were discussing about Thakur, and Sandeep has said, "Don't sleep on Shami." I'm still not convinced by Shardul Thakur, although he takes wickets. He's just too expensive. I think I think it is quite a common thing that a lot of people have said that he gets taken about for a few runs, but for the value he provides, I think Shardul is somebody who should be persisted. What do you think?
Fair point. Fair point from Sandeep. I think we shouldn't forget the likes of Mohammad Shami. His performance in the IPL was so good. So, that's another headache that the selectors are going to have. It's a good headache to have. But yeah, I agree with him. I mean, Shardul Thakur can be a little expensive, but the things that he provides, I think if you look at the entire package, then it makes sense to play him. But of course, Mohammad Shami, if you compare them as bowlers, Mohammad Shami is a much better bowler. So I'd still go with Shardul Thakur just for the fact that he brings in that extra bit in the batting. So and he gives in his 100%. Yeah, I would definitely go with Shardul Thakur.
I mean, Shashank has. I think he was a star of our discussion after the third game. He said, "I agree with this man." He was. I mean, he's in agreement with you, Shivang, about Rohit and Noel, and he's. I think got a few unsavory things to say about him. Virat ko pehle thoda discipline sikhao. Virat just winning because his team has the potential. I mean, I think it's a little unfair on Virat as well, to slag on Virat like this. I think because he got a lot of things right in today's game. I think. I mean,
I
you can't.
I
For all the faults that he has as a captain, I think he did quite well in this series. I mean, what do you think, Rahul and Shivang? We'll start with Rahul.
Yeah, I know we're having this discussion after every game. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, no, I think the captaincy is, it's pretty settled, and if Rohit has ideas to form thing, he can still offer them. He's a vice captain, and
absolutely.
I don't think people sometimes portray his so-called rivalry between him and Kohli as but vice captain can also provide ideas. It's not like, oh, he has no power. So
Absolutely.
and that's what probably happens. It's just that we don't see it. Probably provides ideas off the field. These are the things we don't see. But yeah, no, I do agree. Rohit's captaincy is better than Kohli's, but it's not like he's not there to. He's still there, so I don't think it's
Absolutely.
a problem.
What do you think, Shivang?
I don't mind Virat Kohli's disciplinary issues. I don't mind him getting aggressive. I don't mind him getting abusive. That's all fair if you're winning. The fact that he hasn't won India a major trophy, a World Cup, or something like that is something that bothers me. What I think about Virat Kohli is the fact that Virat Kohli comes with a set plan in his mind. If that
Hmm.
plan backfires or if something is not happening according to him, then he doesn't have a plan B, which is something that Mahendra Singh Dhoni had, which is something that Rohit Sharma has. And that is
Yes.
crucial. So
Absolutely.
that for me is one reason why Rohit Sharma just edges over Virat Kohli for captaincy. I don't mind his attitude. I don't mind anything. I think that's just great. That tells you how much he wants to play and how much he wants to lead this team. But
Yes.
the fact that he's not dynamic, he doesn't adapt according to the situation. So that is
Hmm.
one thing that worries me because this was a pretty straightforward match. I mean, if tomorrow
Yes.
you're playing a semi-final against West Indies and they are out of control, then I think Virat Kohli will stick to his plan and keep his bowlers just like he planned before the game. But Rohit Sharma, and we saw that with Mahendra Singh Dhoni as well, they can adapt according to the situation. So that is something that I feel is very important, is missing, and I'm pretty sure Virat Kohli will lead this team into the 2020 World Cup. But if India don't do well in that, then I think it's about time to take a call before the next World Cup. And just like Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli will stay in the 11. He will stay in the team, but captaincy needs to be switched if Kohli doesn't win the World Cup or doesn't get to the finals or something like that.
Shivang, you're getting a lot of love from Shashank Sharma. I think he said 100% agree with Shivang. I think he's speaking what exactly is in my mind. Cheers, boy. Sandeep has a quick question. 10 runs required of the last over. Whom would you bowl? Shami, Natarajan, who's a death over specialist, or Shadul? One of you. Quick answer.
Bumrah,
One.
Bumrah. This is the
Yeah,
and
exactly. I mean,
and now that you've mentioned Bumrah, we'll take the question from Srinivas Sadanan. Thoughts on India's bowling the way they did, India bowling the way they did without Bumrah. Shivang, what do you think?
yeah, they adapted really well. I mean, it's a big thing to say that India didn't miss the likes of Jasprit Bumrah, who has been the world's greatest bowlers over the past few years. So yeah, I think they adapted really well. And the new boys, they really took the responsibility. They really took the onus. And
Yes.
yeah, I didn't feel that he was missing, which is strange.
Uh, Rahul, what do you think?
yeah, they stepped up, and it's good. It's good for everybody involved that the bowler stepped up. Because Bumrah would have had enjoyed his peaceful marriage without having to think about cricket too much, and it's good for him as
Yes.
well. Gets that rest. It's good in India winning series when Bumrah, when you're able to so-called rest Bumrah, but he's crucial for the rest of the year. India really need him in all formats. So
True.
it, it bodes well. Bumrah can come back, and we know what he can do. He's gun bowler, so he's a sure guarantee. So yeah, that for that death bowling question, there's no other answer for me.
And I think we've got another question from Shashank, and this time I think it's a very pertinent one. I think they need to think of the spinner with Sundar and Yuzi and even Rahul Chahar today not looking in the best of touch. And with that, I think there's also connected to this. I think we have a question from Anubhav Sarkar, who's gone a little off topic and said thoughts on Chakravarti missing out due to fitness reasons. What's the story there? And with connecting it with the form that question that Shank had, the spinners are were a little out of the mark. What do you think? I mean, do they need to think of who could be the lead strike spinner for them for the Indian team in the T20 World Cup? Rahul.
Um, and that is suddenly spinners have become a slight issue, but I think they will still stick with Chahal. But yeah, suddenly there is no decisive. I mean, forgetting about Kuldeep, who's seems to have just gone
Yes,
off the radar
T20
completely.
radar.
Yeah,
True. True.
And Kuldeep needs. I mean, I think they all need good IPL, but Kuldeep needs a good IPL more than the others because he's not been having a good few years, and that's one of the reasons he has just gone off the radar. Um, yeah. As for Chakravarti, I think you can't have any issues about it. Fitness is obviously a part of Kohli's mantra for ever since he
True.
became captain. And if I don't think I mean it can't be like they're asking that much of the players. They're after this the cricketers. They can't be asking. So if he's still failing, uh, whatever the test is, then it reflects badly on the bowler. And I don't think. I mean, he's a mystery bowler, but mystery bowlers do get found out pretty fast. So is it worth sacrificing? Is it worth ignoring the rules for one player?
Yes. What do you think, Shivang? Spin ranks a concern, and about Varun Chakravarti missing out due to fitness reasons.
I think Anubhav has asked about the Varun Chakravarti story, but there are
Yes.
many stories that we are not talking about. There are so many stories, and we've seen that over the past few years. I mean, I just read somewhere recently that Devdutt Padikkal has been excluded from the ODI series, that Mayank Agarwal has been excluded from the ODI series. So there are lots of things that are happening. From the board's end, that I'm not understanding. I think each and every successful T20 team in this world needs a quality leg spinner. I am a
True.
big fan of leg spinners because I think they go for runs, but they get you wickets.
Absolutely.
Yuzvendra Chahal is not your leg spinner. Yuzvendra Chahal I don't know if that's biased for RCB players or what the situation is over there, but I have never been mightily impressed from him. I think India need a really good leg spinner who can actually spin the ball and who gets them the wickets. So yes, Kuldeep Yadav has been avoided too. So there are. I'm not too sure about this actually because India used to be the country or the team that provides the great spinners across the world. So the fact that we don't have a quality leg spinner and we can't even think about it is really something that worries me. So emphasis and importance needs to be shown on the leg spin department. And Yuzvendra Chahal will. I'm pretty sure Yuzvendra Chahal will start the World Cup because there is no way he's getting out of the squad now. But he's not your answer for sure.
Uh, and I think this is where Stark's realities wild card.
Yes,
What
yes.
about giving Ashwin a chance?
I'm going to. I'm just so sorry to interrupt you on that one, but I was just about to come to that. Just if someone can give me one reason why R Ashwin can't start the T20s or he can't start the one day internationals. I mean, I just don't see why. Why can he not play? He's in such a good form. Whenever he plays the IPL, he always impresses me with his attitude, with his thinking, his out of the box thinking. That is exactly what you need to stop the batsman from going berserk. I was just about to come to that, and Stark's reality has really, touched upon the right chords. R. Ashwin is sort of the solution to many problems. He is not someone who will probably win you the World Cup, but he solves so many problems for India, and he needs to be at least, thought about.
I agree. Yeah.
And then I mean there's so then there's also so with the fact that the spinners are under the question, and the fact that we are and I think, yeah, Shashank once again showering a lot of love on Shivang brother. RCB quota is the reason.
I mean, I think
uh
that's unfair. I mean, Chahal has
yeah.
been he's a wicket taker and he has been delivering for even for India, but I think even for RCB a lot, and maybe that's the reason Kohli trusts him. But
I
it's
am I'm happy I'm happy with Chahal as a wicket taker. I'm happy with Chahal with his character. But do you think he's a traditional proper leg spinner who
no,
probably
no,
just spins the ball and causes trouble to the batsman? Yes, they miss time a shot and they get caught off at the boundary. I don't think a leg spinner has a lot to do with that. But I don't think I have seen him just spinning the ball both ways and causing a lot of trouble.
that's
So
true. Yeah,
yeah, I think that is probably something that is missing.
I agree.
And there's also Amrit Singh chipping in. What has happened to Lord Shardul? He's taking wickets, but at the same time conceding more than 40 runs in 4 overs. I think we've already taken spoken a lot about Shardul and Shashank. Once again, thoughts on Rahul Tewatia? Yet another wild card name he's thrown into the mix. But I mean, what do you think? I mean, didn't get a game in the series, but do you think there's a chance for him for a T20 World Cup spot?
No, I don't think if India wait if he should have got a chance in this series if he was in the World Cup plans. If he didn't get a chance now, then um, I'm not sure how he. I don't think he's that mm, good a player to just be drafted in the World Cup. Making a debut in the World Cup. And yeah, so that's my. I mean, I forgot who mentioned Ravi Bishnoi, which is also a
Yeah,
good call.
Shashank,
Yeah,
in fact, brought that up. I mean, he's thrown in the names of uh, Ashwin, Rahul Chahar, Yuzi Chahal, Kuldeep, and Ravi Bishnoi. Good options. Let's see who gets a chance in World Cup. I mean, Ravi Bishnoi, I personally feel it's just a little too early for him, but
yeah.
there's. I mean, there are always hopes for a bolter pick over here. So I mean, you can always have that. I mean, Srinivas Sadanand also said Ashwin needs a chance. He's clearly our best spinner. I think he's done quite. I mean, I think we've spoken quite a lot about Ashwin as well. I mean, so now we are hitting the 50-minute mark in the stream. So we'll quickly go to what to the T20. 2 5 months down the line, we'll have the T20 World Cup. I mean, around October. So, what do you think? I mean, how does this series now shape up for what for the Indian team in the T20 World Cup? Whom do you think has stood out for you in the series, and who do you think is in the danger of probably missing out from the 11 that will take for the T20 World Cup? Shivang.
I think before I get to that, just going back a little to the Rahul Tewatia question. I mean, why not him? What is something that Washington Sundar provides? What is something that Yuzvendra Chahal provides that Rahul Tewatia can't provide? We saw it in the IPL against the world-class batsman. He took it by a storm. He's such a good performance. So I, to be honest, think that he could be that joker. He could be that mystery card that takes everyone by surprise. So I am all in for him getting a game. I'm all in for him making it to the squad, which he won't. He perhaps won't. But why not? I mean, I'm not impressed by Washington Sundar. I'm not impressed by Isvinder Chahal. So I think that if you're looking to experiment, especially in such a format when you should experiment, then you definitely have to be looking at the likes of Tewatia. Now, coming back to your question, I think someone who's really impressed me in this series is Shreyas Iyer and Surya Kumar Yadav. I think
Yes.
they have to be in there in the squad. Someone who, according to me, shouldn't make it is probably Yuzvendra Chahal, Washington Sundar, and yeah, these two I think I am a little dubious about them. And Shikhar
Um,
Dhawan, of course, Shikhar Dhawan and KL Rahul too.
that's where I think Stark's realities question KL to miss out. I mean, now I'll take this and your this one and your whom do you think would be the have made their case strong for the T20 World Cup selection, Rahul?
Yeah, KL definitely has done his hopes. He's not done his hopes any good, and yeah, his stock is definitely dropped. And on the flip side, Suryakumar has, I think, probably sealed his position. And like Shivang said, Iyer as well with the last game when he
Hmm.
performed a
Finish.
different role. Yeah. So I mean, I think for me, probably 11 or 12 spots are probably sealed, and it's the case of the spinner, um, a backup pacer, and probably one of the opener slots that are left to be decided. But again, IPL is coming, and that will probably change things a bit as well.
But
I
I
mean, yeah.
just to make a little point over here, I think one major reason why KL Rahul won't make it, or I don't want him to make it, is probably because he doesn't add anything to the team for me. Earlier, we had our doubts over Rishabh Pant as a keeper, and we probably thought that okay, KL Rahul will come in and keep the wickets. But now I think that doubt is cleared. Rishabh Pant has proved himself, and the openers bit is sorted as well. So I don't know where exactly KL Rahul will play. The middle order seems set to me. The opener seems set to me. So yeah, I just don't think there is any place for him, to be honest. And he hasn't helped himself either. Yeah, he hasn't been good in the international scene. He'll probably be performing well in the IPL, but I don't think we should make a decision over that.
There's also Stark's reality again. Don't know why Kishan was dropped. Should get more minutes opening, in my opinion. IMO. I think, yeah. I think Kishan, especially after that first game, I think it's
Yeah,
his debut game. I think he's also given done no harms to his chances. I mean, for a possible spot, because he also he can keep as well.
yeah.
He's a flexible guy. He can operate anywhere in the batting order. So
He has
quite
to
a
be
few
there.
runs. And what about England? I mean, what do you think? I mean, England, for England, whom do you think was the player who's broken out for you in this series, the breakout star for England, and whom do you think might be at the risk of missing out in their squad? I mean, they did not. They mostly went in with the same team in all the games. I think just tried 12 players in the series, with Tom Curran getting a game in the second one. What do you think? I mean, I think who's done his chances no harms for the T20 World Cup for England, and who do you think might be at the risk now of the job? Rahul, we'll start with you.
I'd say, I mean, I don't think there's any breakout star as such, because like you said, this is pretty much England's core T20 squad that we
Yes,
have seen through the past few years, and they obviously prioritize the T20 series as a practice for the World Cup more than the Test series. That being said, I don't think Tom Curran did his chances any good. You know, he played one game, didn't, and bowled pretty badly. Mark Wood did his chances a lot of good. Didn't do that well today, but he was really good in the last few T20s. So I'd say Wood did his chances good. As for the rest of the team, I mean, this is probably the majority of the squad that will play in the World Cup. I'm not too aware of any wildcard options that England have, but you know, they have so much depth in quality, especially with the batting.
true.
I like, yeah.
And yes, yeah. I mean, you got a point, Rahul. And what do you think, Shivang? I mean, who for you, who was it? And especially looking at, also, I'll ask you about the team composition England's picked. I mean, they've not been using Sam Curran effectively, and that just opens the question. I mean, why wasn't Moeen Ali given a chance in any of the T20 games? So I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Shivang? About whom impressed you for England, and about the Sam Curran conundrum that of not using him properly, and where does Moeen Ali actually fit in? I'll take
So
you for this.
I think the good performance for England for me in this series, probably one has been Adil Rashid. I think he's been
Yeah,
really good. He's impressed me,
absolutely.
and I think England tend to shuffle across their spinners quite a few times, and they shouldn't be doing that. They should stick to
Hmm.
Rashid and give him that confidence, and give him that support for the World Cup. Another one is, of course, Mark Wood. I mean, on Indian pitches, probably somewhat he'll struggle, like we saw today. I mean, when the slower balls they do the trick, so you probably don't need someone who bowls at 150 kilometers per hour, but that always helps. So Jofra Archer is another one who really impressed me this series, and he should be the talisman for the World Cup. And I think someone who I thought was a bit of a disappointment was probably Jason Roy in his we
Okay.
can say that in his bit of a, as we saw, his short selection at times, and just his temperament at times. So but I, to be honest, think that England don't need Johnny Bairstow in that lineup. England would probably do particularly well with someone like a Moeen Ali instead of Bairstow, who gives them that extra spinning option, who also forces Ben Stokes to come in at number four. So if Bairstow is out of the picture, if I'm sorry, if Bairstow is out of the picture, then Stokes comes in at number four, and Moeen Ali comes in, who gets to be the additional spinner.
Yes.
So I think that overall, as a composition, is much better than what they have right now, especially on Indian pitches where
Yes.
they will need the spinners. So yeah, and Sam Curran, I think he's been good. I think they have been a little unfair on him, but like, yeah, he'll still be in the 11. He'll still be in the lineup.
We'll take the one final question from Stark's Reality. Hales should be a great addition to this England squad, and Rahul's right. Mahput has really been good. What do you think, The Alex Hales question. I mean, we'll take very short responses now because we are about to hit that 1 hour mark. So,
Hales, yeah, yeah, but that's what I was talking about. The depth that England can afford to leave an Alex Hales out, even though that they left him out because of the disciplinary issues and haven't found the need to bring him back into the squad. But yeah, I really don't know. I mean, if they haven't reconciled by now, uh, it's tough to see how he will make a return for the World Cup.
what do you think, Shivang, about the Alex Hales question conundrum?
Alex Hales, I think he's had his chances, but he hasn't done anything particularly out of the ordinary to impress me, at least. So I don't see him getting even close to the starting 11. So I think that chapter is closed now, at least for 2020s, it's closed. And England should and England are moving on. They are looking ahead at other options and which are probably better right now.
Okay. I think great. It was a great discussion, guys. I think we've hit the 1 hour mark exactly now with this, and a great discussion. We've covered up almost everything that we thought of covering in this in our review, and great series.
Great questions too. Great questions
Yes,
too, I think, from
absolutely.
people.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone who's commented on the live stream and thrown in their questions, I think your questions have actually helped us flesh this one out even better, add lot more content on our show today, and great. And just a correction, I think Hales, Sandeep said Hales was the leading run scorer in the Big Bash League. So yeah, I mean there is.
There are many players I think who perform well at the Big Bash League, but that is something different from when you play at the international level, especially when you're talking about the World Cup. So I don't think we should consider Big Bash or IPL as the determining factors to get into the national team. I think there are a lot of things that need to be considered, past chances as well. That is where Hills doesn't make it for me.
And yeah, Shashank has thank you, Shashank, for your positive comments here. I mean, thanking us for this good show. I mean,
Thanks,
we've
man.
done a
Thank
good
you.
job today, I think, guys. I mean, great series. India has emerged victorious 3-2, and now we'll look forward to the ODI series starting from Tuesday onwards. I think which should be another cracker because it's the world ODI world champions against a team that's been former world champions in this format. So should be a very interesting game, but and a series to look forward to. And with the T20 World Cup up front, I think this has been a perfect dress rehearsal. So thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Shivang. I think it's been a great discussion we've had today, and thank you to
Absolutely. Thank
everybody
you so
who's
much.
and thank you to everybody who's commented. We've tried to take in as many of your comments as possible, and great comments from everyone. We've been able to it's helped us give discuss even more on the show. So thank you guys, and this is the end of our review from this T20 series, and we'll see you very soon with another live and. Follow, share, subscribe this video, and subscribe to the official YouTube channel of MTag and the handles, and follow us on Twitter, and also check the website for some great content across all sporting spectrums. So thank you guys. Wishing you guys good night, and stay safe, everyone. Thank you.